Welcome, bout betters. Well, we did pretty good last week, but we can't rest on our laurels. We have to continue moving forward, grind ahead. This card this weekend may seem like a dud, but it has some lines we can exploit or attack. A big positive, as other than Manon Fiort, Askar Askarov, and Curtis Blades, we don't see the crazy chalk we saw last week. And I wonder if we'll see the same kind of crazy line movement as last week. But I highly doubt it. Will we see any of these favorites surge into the minus 500, 600 area? I don't think so. I think the lines here are pretty decent. A bout that is of hella interest to me, and one of the many one that was requested during my intoxicated post-fight betting breakdown, is this bout between Luis Saldana and Bruno Silva. Sergio and Dominique had a lot of input. Great to have fans like them involved in my chat, in my content. Makes this a lot more interesting, and I sincerely appreciate their participation. This bout is very, very interesting. I think it's spec'd accordingly. Each of these guys have similar styles and skill sets, but executed in different ways. Saldana is a hands-down open guard, switch stance kickboxer with other boxing skills, while Bruno Silva is a hands-down open guard karate champion who looks and fights a lot like Lyoto Machida. He has a very orthodox karate style with a lot of feints, movements, and combinations. These guys both prefer to fight at distance, and both are precision strikers. Both have incredibly loose defensive postures, but I prefer Bruno's defensive movements and his counterattacks off of those movements. Offensively, both these guys like to counter, but I also like Bruno's blitz combination attacks to Saldana's surgical one-punch hit strategy. Both these guys can be easily timed, and both are very ineffective when in close quarters. Neither likes to be crowded, pressured, or remain in the phone booth, so it's going to be very interesting to see what adjustments each of these guys and how this particular fight plays out, because as we see, so Bruno Silva spends even more time at distance. Saldana thinks you may think that he is more active as a striker, but he is a sniper type, very slow, not a lot of output really from him, and neither guy has any power in their striking. They're both point fighters. With Bruno Silva, I think that being an advantage to him. As having that professional karate competition experience, he's more acclimated to staying at distance, not worrying about takedowns, and point fighting. Regarding the striking, despite being a traditional karate guy, Bruno Silva, I think, has a slight advantage because of his patience and that combat karate experience, that background. If it remains on the feet, he's the better point fighter with more patience and a slight bit more volume, even though statistically you think Saldana has the volume. Bruno Silva actually attacks a little bit more in his combinations. Saldana does have a wider array of attacks and has quicker twitch movement. Bruno Silva will show you that sort of hip movement, but he doesn't strike in the same way or as quick as Saldana, and that's a big, big factor here. Saldana can be sloppy, and his striking tapers off significantly in the latter rounds. While I think Saldana can find success in the offensive grappling, both guys have decent counter jiu-jitsu, but Souza, I think, has less MMA grappling abilities. Saldana is active from back and will look for submissions offensively, while Souza is more of a counter wrestling specialist. He wants to keep this on the feet, where I think Saldana can mix it up a little bit better. This is interesting, as Saldana's cardio is not suited to engage in a grapple-heavy game plan, and it's fairly even on the in the striking department. In my opinion, I think I will wait till the end of the week and see where the line lays at to sort of make my play in terms of if I'm going to bet on this particular fight. I don't mind these fights that are a 50-50 or a coin toss. It really should be and is spec'd out, as I mentioned earlier. Saldana is only a minus 120 favorite, so if you want to get some dog money right now, I don't think we're going to see a lot of line movement in this. It is a toss-up. I'm ever so slightly leaning with Saldana, as I think he can mix in his grappling to attempt to get that control time and throw Bruno off his karate attacks. But if Saldana decides to make this a pure striking match, I prefer Bruno Silva to slowly peg away at Saldana, as outpointing him in the latter rounds is what he will eventually do, because Saldana seems to really fade. Saldana does have some submission upside, but I see this bout going the distance and expect the method and time props to be very enticing. Each of these guys don't have a lot of finishing upside, so the numbers are going to be large. They're going to be worth sort of chasing. I'm not certain if I'm on that right now, because I'm leaning slightly on Saldana. If he does climb any further than where he's at right now, I will probably flip to the Bruno side. I think Bruno is a live dog here, if we can really call it that, because the price is fairly even. Again, I'm going to wait to purchase a position, but I'm very interested in just to go to decision prop numbers. I'm also interested in the Saldana submission prop as well as the KO line, as I think he has a little bit more pop in his hands, and he definitely think he has a little bit more submission grappling abilities than Bruno Silva. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. And as always, if you've made it this far, you are a bout better.